Courtney, and welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I thought it would be a good idea to do like a hair makeup tutorial. I don't typically do too many protective styles, and in this video you will see why. That being said, I'm also going to be playing with the new Blueprint from Melt Cosmetics palette. Now this is actually, I guess, like a redo of their Melt stack in the Blueprint, but they turned the whole thing into a palette essentially, which this I can vibe with a little bit more than I did the actual stacks. So if you are interested in the entire look that I came up with, including the hair, then please continue to watch. To prime my lids, I'm using the Fenty eye primer and blending that into the concealer I used to clean up my brows. Then I'm going into the palette and taking Dim Out on a round tip flat brush. I'm going to start by placing that shade right above my crease, while following the actual curve of the crease, moving it outward. Once I get to that outer edge, I'm angling the shade upward for a little bit of a lift to the eye. Basically right now I'm just creating the shape I want. Then I'll go in and pack in color and blend and such. I'm also moving it slightly inwards towards my inner eye corner without actually meeting it, so I'm leaving a little space there. Once I have my basic shape down, I'm going to take a thin fluffy brush and blend out the top of that shade. Taking the first brush, I'm going to use that same shade and connect my outer eye corner to the top of that outer wing and begin to fill that shade in on that outer lid. At this point, my primer settled into the lines a little, so I'm taking my finger to re-smooth that out. Then I'm going to go into King Stud and place that right next to the matte blue on the outer edge, stopping that shade right before the lid center. Now I'm going back and forth between these two blues in order to blend out where those shades meet. Now for a little bit of fun and contrast, I'm going to go into Hot Wire and place that on the rest of the lid, staying under that blue curve we created at the beginning. Next, using the shade Beaming, I'm carving the inner eye space, almost like a cut crease, meeting up with that golden bronzy shade, still staying under the matte blue as well. Also from this collection, I picked up the cream liners, so I'm using the metallic shade Steel to create my wing. For me, liners like these work best with a thin angled brush, and I sort of lay the brush against the lid and drag it, leading with that short side, if that makes sense. And because the Melt liners are so creamy, it just glides on effortlessly. And then we fill that in. Moving on to the face, I'm using my Urban Decay All Nighter Face Primer. This primer gives me a nice moisturized pore fillage type of situation, but it does have an element of tackiness that grips most foundations flawlessly on my skin. Now I like to let my primer sit, so while that settles in, I'm taking my wet line gel and I'm going to smooth down my edges, as well as where I want my hard part to be. For foundation, I've been trying out the new Urban Decay Hydromaniac Skin Tint. I do have a review of this coming up, so stay tuned for that. Next, I'm taking my Rare Beauty Concealer and placing that on the inner portion of my under eye. This is where I typically like most of my coverage. I'm also placing a little on my chin, upper lip, and down the center of my nose. Now this part I'm doing more for highlighting purposes and not so much coverage. Now today's powder is going to be the Laura Mercier Translucent Honey Powder. I'm obsessed with this powder. It blurs and brightens, and it's so smoothing without being like overtly drying, if that makes sense. I highly recommend it. One thing I did want to mention while blending my concealer out, I do bring it up and outwards to sort of clean up that wing, but also for a little lift and highlighting all in one. And then I'll set the rest of my concealer. I'm going to use my NYX Wonder Stick for contour today. I literally never use the highlighting portion, just the contour side. And I use this product more so when I'm feeling a little lazier. It's a super creamy and emollient product, which makes it really easy to glide and blend, but the color doesn't necessarily run like contoury on my skin. It's more of like a creamy bronzer shade, and I pretend that it's a contour, you know what I mean? I didn't show it, but I'm using the matte gel liner in Slate from this collection on a flat brush, and I'm just gonna line my waterline and the lower lash line with it, connecting that outer edge to the top wing, of course. Stopping at the lower inner eye corner. Going back into King Stud, I'm adding that on top of the outer lower lash line. Then using Deadbolt on top of the rest of the blue liner that we put down, stopping again at that lower inner corner. Next, we're using Skylight on that inner tear duct area, as well as the lower inner eyelash line. I'm gonna go ahead and bronze with this Kylie Cosmetics bronzer, which is a little bit newer to my collection, but I'm gonna place that on top of the cream contour situation, and on the tip of the nose, and so on. Now I'm using my Moon Prism blush palette from Lunar Beauty, and I'm gonna mix these two blushes together. I'm like super surprised at this palette because I can actually use all of these shades, which is rare in this kind of palette. Now because this foundation is on the dewy side, I'm going to lightly set everything with my Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Powder. It also helps to sort of calm down any harsh lines or like anything that I didn't completely blend out, if that makes sense. For highlighter, I'm first using Minted Mojito from Fenty and placing that on the high points. Taking care to be a little bit light-handed with this since it is like a blue highlighter. I'm also adding that to my tear duct area as well. Then I'm gonna mix all the colors from the Dior Glow Face palette in Copper Gold and blend that on top of the blue Fenty highlighter to sort of melt everything into the skin a little better. I'm gonna go ahead and add lashes and mascara here. To set everything, I'm gonna use the Spray Your Grace from Beauty Bakery. Then I'm lining my lips with So Rare from Juvia's Place. And then from Fenty, I'm using the Mademoiselle lipsticks in Single and Up to No Good. And then going over that with Neat Freak from the ColourPop and Shayla collab. Now for the hair, I'm gonna lightly spritz a soft hold spray all over the head. Now I started by using a little avocado oil on my hand so that I could easily take these down. However, I noticed quickly that my hair was still soaking wet. So I tried rolling it back up and blow drying my hair for a solid 30 minutes. I just gave up and was like, whatever happens, I'm just gonna go ahead and take it down because I was done by this point. And of course it's still wet, so I do have a ton of frizz and a lot of like flat areas. A lot of the front did curl, which looked pretty decent, and it was super shiny and moisturized, so that was a plus. After taking the rods out, I went ahead and separated a few of the pieces for just a little bit more of like a full-bodied look, which added more frizz in the long run, but that's okay. It is what it is. And thus we have our finished look. Plus side to everything, it is super duper soft. It feels really nice. It's still very shiny. It's moisturized, feels good. I feel like the next time that I am like prompted or feel like doing something like this, I'm definitely going to like give it 3 to 4 days to dry, which is like, I hate sleeping with those things. But I feel like literally probably in a day or two, I am gonna have to pull this up into a ponytail. Like when I work out, it's gonna be sweated out. Like, you know what I mean? This is why I typically don't do looks like this. However, that being said, I'm okay with the way my hair turned out. We could have better, but I absolutely love the palette. Everything that I use on my face as well as in my hair will be in the description box below. Let me know if you guys are interested in videos like these where I sort of incorporate a little bit of hair, a little bit of makeup, skincare, fashion, all of that stuff. Alright guys, hopefully this video was fun and entertaining, inspiring, all that great stuff. If so, please give me a thumbs up. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video if it is in your heart to do so, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.